Welcome to the Grim Tapes. Tonight, we delve into one of the most terrifying and controversial hauntings in American history, the Smurl Haunting. A case that shook a family to their core, bewildered investigators, and brought the legendary Ed and Lorraine Warren back into the spotlight. This story is not just a ghost tale whispered around a campfire. It is a documented series of chilling events that took place over years, a torment that threatened to tear a family apart. But what really happened in that house in West Pittston, Pennsylvania? Were the Smurls truly under siege by demonic forces? Or was something else at play, psychological, environmental, or perhaps even fabricated? Prepare yourself as we walk step by step through this complex, deeply unsettling case, from its origins to the aftermath. The background of the Smurl family. The Smurl family seemed like your typical American family. Jack and Janet Smurl moved into a duplex in West Pittston, Pennsylvania, in the early 1970s with their daughters and Jack's parents, John and Mary. Their goal was simple, a peaceful life, a home where the extended family could grow and thrive. The duplex layout offered one side for Jack, Janet, and the kids, and the other for his parents. The house was modest but cozy, located in a quiet neighborhood. No one could have predicted the horrors that would eventually unfold within those walls. At first, life in the home was quiet, unremarkable even. But then, small anomalies began to surface, strange odors, untraceable noises, and fleeting shadows in the corners of their vision. The first signs of trouble. It began with basic disturbances, pipes leaking without explanation, televisions turning off and on, and household appliances malfunctioning. At first, these occurrences were brushed off as electrical issues or wear and tear. But the disturbances escalated. Jack reported seeing a black mass move through rooms. Janet was awakened by whispers and cold touches. The children were terrified by invisible presences. The dogs would bark at empty corners. Objects began flying across rooms. Even the family's guests began experiencing chilling phenomena, validating that the Smurls weren't imagining things. But despite the mounting evidence, they found themselves trapped. Financially unable to move, they endured. Intensification of activity. As months turned into years, the paranormal activity intensified dramatically. The family experienced physical assaults, scratches, bruises, and violent shaking while in bed. Jack claimed he was sexually assaulted by a demonic entity. Janet said she was levitated off her bed. The sounds of guttural growls echoed through the house. Doors slammed on their own. Lights flickered erratically. The children, especially the twins Shannon and Karen, reported being followed by shadowy figures. The elderly John and Mary experienced poltergeist attacks, including being shoved and hearing disembodied voices calling their names. The most chilling part? Whenever they sought help, the activity seemed to punish them more, as if the force was aware they were fighting back. Seeking spiritual help. Eventually, out of desperation, the Smurls reached out to local clergy. A priest blessed the home, but the entity seemed to grow more agitated. That's when they turned to Ed and Lorraine Warren, the most famous paranormal investigators of the time. Ed Warren was a demonologist. Lorraine was a clairvoyant and a medium. They had already worked on infamous cases like the Amityville Horror and the Perron family haunting. When they arrived at the Smurl home, they claimed to immediately sense a dark, malicious presence. According to the Warrens, the house was infested by not one, but 4 spirits, 3 minor and 1 powerful demonic entity. They believed this dark force had attached itself to the family and was feeding off their fear. Warren's investigation. The Warrens documented their findings through audio tapes and detailed notes. Ed claimed he witnessed objects levitating and shadow figures moving across rooms. Lorraine said she was overwhelmed with sorrow and fear upon entering the house. They conducted seances, attempted to provoke the entity, and worked with priests to perform exorcisms. But despite their efforts, the entity resisted removal. One priest reportedly spent over 16 hours in the home, reciting prayers and holy rites. The activity would calm for a time, only to return more violently. The Warrens also brought media attention to the case. A book was written about the events, and the story caught the attention of national news outlets. The family was suddenly in the spotlight, which brought both support and criticism. The public's reaction and skepticism. As the Smurl case became public, it attracted a storm of skepticism. Local clergy and neighbors questioned the legitimacy of the events. Some suggested the Warrens were embellishing for publicity. Others believed the Smurls were experiencing psychological disturbances or reacting to environmental toxins like mold or carbon monoxide. Skeptics pointed to the lack of physical evidence. Photos showed nothing unusual. Videos captured no moving objects. Audio recordings were filled with static and faint whispers, but nothing conclusive. Psychologists weighed in, suggesting that mass hysteria or shared delusions might explain the family's experiences. Still, the Smurls stood by their story. They claimed no financial gain came from the publicity. They only wanted peace. The aftermath and moving out. Eventually, after years of torment and multiple failed exorcisms, the Smurl family moved out. Interestingly, the activity seemed to die down significantly once they relocated. This sparked further debate: was it the house, or something attached to the family themselves? The case remained a mystery. The new occupants of the house reportedly experienced no paranormal activity, which only deepened the controversy. Was the haunting real? Or was it something psychological, spiritual, or even opportunistic? Legacy of the Smurl Haunting. The Smurl Haunting left behind a legacy of fear, fascination, and doubt. It inspired a made-for-TV movie, further books, and discussions in paranormal communities to this day. For some, it's one of the strongest cases of demonic infestation in modern times. For others, it's an example of media-fueled hysteria. For Ed and Lorraine Warren, it was one of the many cases that solidified their controversial legacy. Believers hail them as warriors against evil. Critics call them master storytellers. But for the Smurls, it was a personal nightmare. One they claimed they would never wish upon anyone. Whether you believe in the supernatural or not, the Smurl Haunting challenges us to explore the limits of human understanding. Are there forces beyond our comprehension? Can fear manifest into physical experience? Or are we simply more vulnerable to suggestion than we'd like to admit? Now, we turn the question to you. What do you believe happened to the Smurl family? Were they victims of a true haunting, or was this a case of psychological torment? Could the involvement of Ed and Lorraine Warren have escalated the situation, or were they the only ones willing to help? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you found this deep dive into the Smurl Haunting gripping, make sure to subscribe to the Grim Tapes. Like this video to support more in-depth investigations, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a new episode. Until next time, stay curious, and stay cautious.